find them again. What would you do if you left something in a taxi? Would you know what to do? Where would you find them?
其实我真的不知道，因为我还没碰到这个问题。
Well, I'll tell you, the best thing is you call the 出租汽车管理局, the administration office. Have you ever had that trouble, lose something in a taxi?
有一次我丢了我的手机。
手机 your cell phone. You left a cell phone in the taxi.
对啊。
What did you do?
我好几次给我手机打电话，但是没人接。
Did you get a receipt from the taxi?
没有要发票，所以没找到我的手机。
You see, if you had a receipt from the taxi, it would have the taxi number and the phone number and everything on it. You could tell what time it was, what taxi, and everything. Remember that for next time. When the next dialogue we're going to look at, they had a similar problem, but they were lucky enough that they did have a ticket. Okay, let's see what happens in the dialogue.
先生，没记住车号没关系，你有出租车的发票吗？
发票？
找您钱时给您的。
哦，是这个吧？
对，就是这个。您看，上面有出租车的电话号码，还有出租车的车号。
这么说，可以找到那辆出租车了。
对，别着急，我们现在就给出租车公司打电话。
哦，好。
喂，你好，我们这儿有3位客人，刚才坐了你们的车，可能有一个包落在你们车上了。车号？哦，您稍等，您跟他说一下吧。
哦，好。喂，你好，车号是 BAF123。对。是从机场打车到饭店的。好的，好，那谢谢你啊。
看的怎么样？
好，他们得跟出租车司机联系一下，有了结果呀，给我们打电话。
哎，又得等。
Let's take a tea break and talk a little bit about taxis in Beijing. Taking a taxi in Beijing is relatively straightforward. Taxis are clearly marked with roof lights as well as special paint jobs. Now, most taxis are red, but different companies sometimes use different colors. Regardless, a legitimate taxi should be clearly marked and have an official working meter. You should never have to negotiate the price of a taxi trip. Instead, you should insist on 走表, use the meter, or go by the meter, 走表. The only exception is if you're going to be traveling far out of the urban area or you're reserving a car for a whole day. For example, if you take a taxi all the way to the Great Wall, you might negotiate a flat fare in advance. There is no tipping for taxis. You simply pay the fare listed on the meter, and you should be given a printed receipt. The only extra charge is road tolls, like on the airport expressway. Even then, you should be given a receipt that shows the exact amount of the toll. If you ever have any problem with a taxi, just write down the taxi number that's listed on the outside and the inside of the car. Taxis are very strictly regulated, and complaints are usually taken very seriously. In fact, if the driver sees you writing his number down, that's usually enough to solve any problem right away. In my experience, the vast majority of taxi drivers are honest and hardworking. It's a very tough job. Okay, well that brings us to the end of our review lesson. Today we've been talking about 坐飞机到中国来, taking a plane to China. Now when your plane arrives, you get into the airport, what's the very first thing you do?
办理入境手续.
办理入境手续, take care of the border entry procedures. And then, you've got that, you pick up your luggage, 取行李. You leave the airport, what do?
你就打的吧。
打的嘛, that's another word for 打出租车, 坐出租车, take a taxi. And remember, when you take a taxi, always get a receipt in case you 把东西落在车上, forget something in the cab. Okay, thanks very much for coming to studio and helping us with the review. Thanks everyone for watching, and we hope that you'll join us next time here on Travel in Chinese.